How's it going, everyone? Spectation Sports. I am James Lynch. He is Duane Finley. We got Aries Fight Series 3 coming up here January 7th from the Cotton Eye Joe Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's the card we're going to be previewing here today. But before we get into everything, Duane, how are you? Good to talk to you in 2022.
I'm still chubby, Lynch. I didn't get any less here. Time has done no favors for me. But no, it is great to see you again, man. Great to be recapping another one of these cards. Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's get right into it. By the way, you're still handsome. Remember Leonardo DiCaprio? You got that compliment from Gegard Mousasi. Always keep that one in the memory bank there. That's a good one.
Mousasi said it, not me, so we're good.
Yeah, great main event. We got the vacant welterweight title on the line. Someone's has got to go, Duane. It is David Robbins taking on Trevor Peek. I know you spoke to, you're going to be speaking to Robbins and then obviously Peek as well. What can we expect from this fight? Because obviously the implication's pretty big, especially on the regional scene when you got some hardware involved in a championship.
I think it's, not to be cliche, but it's a clash of contrasting styles. I mean, you talk to Robbins. He's composed, measured. He checks all the boxes. Robbins is one of those guys that can do everything. Peek is just a straight up brawler. I mean, I don't want to short sell him, but I'm saying he's got a different type of nasty in him. You know what I mean? So like he is all pressure. And that's what he brings. So we're going to see, and Robbins has historically not struggled with pressure, but that's where we've seen him have kind of maybe a chink in the armor a little bit. So we're going to see if that's his kryptonite or not. But, Robbins is, he's as well-rounded as you're going to find on the regional scene.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Robbins is a guy, for years that I've known about. He's obviously a pretty notable guy here. So I would say, in terms of fan favorites, Robbins is sort of the guy there. And the implications of this are big because, we got, we're coming up to the new year. Well, we're in the new year. We've got Contender Series around the corner. The UFC is always looking to pick up new guys. I think the implications of this fight are huge because, being undefeated on the regional scene, that always looks good in the eyes of the UFC and, whether it's Contender Series or going to the big show.
Absolutely could not agree more. But even more importantly, that particular region, man, I'm telling you, you and I have covered it more so than most. Right now, that Tennessee or, Alabama, that Southeast United States region is popping right now, man. There's a lot of big things happening. And if you are carrying a undefeated record fighting in that circuit, man, that's like the old, shoot wrestling days, right? Like, barnstorming. So yeah, there's a lot of great things happening. I know like Tim Lloyd, he was with Valor before, Aries now. He's done a lot of great things. So I mean, there's guys, Oxidine is a big one, Casey, guys like that. There's a lot of great MMA down there. So like you're right. These two guys, I will say, it's not something that people talk about much, but a lot. But on the amateur to early professional scene, a lot of guys kind of cherry pick records. They want to build it up like boxing used to do. You do not really see that in this region. These guys are gunning for each other. So yeah, I know Peek is a champion in a different organization, and Robbins has a couple belts of his own. So for this Aries title, though, this vacant title, they're gonna find out. And yeah, I think the winner of this goes on to something bigger right away.
Yeah, and you just mentioned it there. Robbins, pretty notable guy in that scene. Peek, a champion in another organization. You pick up another belt. That always looks good, in the eyes of these promoters when it comes to, picking up guys for the big show. And I think, again, you are seeing the future here. And the thing I love about this card as well, this is the first card of the year, basically. You look at the UFC, they're not doing their show until January 15th. So get on the bandwagon now. This is the future of MMA we're going to be seeing right here on January 7th. So make sure you tune into this one. The co-main event, really interesting lightweight fight. Patrick Crumpton taking on Darion Martin. Really exciting showcase of what's at store at 155 pounds. Just your thoughts on the co-main event of this card.
Yes, there was another fight scheduled. COVID, I believe, got the better of that one, so they're going to reschedule that, the Havener fight. But this Crumpton fight, now here's interesting dynamic is Darion is as game as they get because he was training in something else. he does boxing, he does jiu-jitsu, kind of one of all these all-around guys, but he's game for everything. Crumpton is 3-1, but he's 32 years old. So when I talk to Patrick, he's like, hey, man, I'm realistic. I'm realistic about what's going on. I want a future in this, but this Saturday or this Friday night is going to determine whether I have a future in this. So I like it, man. That puts all the cards on the table. So I think Crumpton is a heavy favor in that just because of what Drion's kind of not been in the mode that much lately. But like I said, I don't sleep on Darion Martin at all.
Well, and not just that, you kind of mentioned it there. I think Crumpton's honest about where he's at in his career, but that can also be a dangerous thing, right? You almost got nothing to lose here, right? This is not something he's going all in on. Whereas Drayon, there's a future in terms of what he's looking to progress and do in the sport. So really interesting matchup here. And again, like you said, you can't count out Drayon as well, as he's looking to sort of use Crumpton as a sort of a stepping stone to get to where he wants to get to in his combat sports career as well. The other great thing on this card is that there's a lot of amateur fighters. So if you're going to be watching this card, you got to sort of keep tabs on these guys, because we've seen, especially with Contender Series and all these other regional events, it only takes a couple of fights before you see these guys going pro and getting a showcase of the future. And Duane, we've been covering regional MMA for years. How many guys have we seen go through the amateur ranks and are now close to fighting in the UFC or are in the UFC now?
Man, I tell, and Lynch, I know you've had this conversation with guys before. I tell guys all the time, like, before Max Holloway was Max Holloway, he was Max Holloway's trying, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Aljamain Sterling, same thing. I remember back when we were first, like, in our early days, we came in the same time. Like, some of the outlets we work for were like, oh, nobody wants to read about Aljamain Sterling. It's like, he's champion now. Holloway's champion now. Like, these guys, Tony Ferguson. I remember nobody gave a shit about Tony Ferguson until Tony Ferguson went Tony Ferguson. You know what I mean? It's like, listen, what we're seeing now is an exciting time. But yes, amateur MMA is the place to watch it. You're watching these guys get their footing. I mean, it's like watching AAA baseball. Before Barry Bonds or before Ken Griffey Jr., they played somewhere else. You know what I mean? So it's great to see. Now, if you're a hardcore fan of the sport, you take the good with the bad, because yes, you're not going to have it's not the UFC, it's not Bellator, but these shows are getting better over the last 3 years. Do you agree?
Oh, 100%. And it's because of the fact that there's more platforms like Spectation Sports where you're getting to watch these cards and you're actually able to, see these fights, right? I mean, you'd have to go drive down there or hear about the results after the fact. So that's one of the great things about technology and where we're at now is you're seeing, it's more of a bigger deal to fight in regional MMA now than it used to be even 3 years ago, because everyone's doing it. Everyone's out there. And one other thing I'll mention as well, and this is why, kind of a selling point to watch this card, is the fact that you're getting guys that need to prove themselves, right? You're not getting guys who've already made it. Not to say that fighters take their foot off the pedal, but you definitely see a little bit more urgency from these amateurs and these pros as they're looking to make that next step in their careers, their respective careers, I should say.
Oh, absolutely. And they're doing it at the Cotton Eye Joe Arena. Now,
exactly. If that isn't a selling point, I don't know what is. Maybe the best arena name in the history of combat sports. Duane, this was a blast. Hopefully we're going to be doing it again soon here. Just another reminder, Aries Fight Series 3, January 7th. You can find all the interviews, all the odds, everything else on spectationsports.com. Duane, I'll give you the last word here before you get out of here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, focus on this main event. I mean, there's a lot of good fights before it, but I'm telling you, Robbins and Peak, that's going to be one. You're getting that at this level. That's something that you could see again happen 3 years down the road for a much bigger situation. So I like it. I think that's worth it alone.